Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional. I'm Kaylani, and this is James.
Good morrow.
And today we are talking about saying goodbye to relationships, to people we've outgrown, and not specific at all to romantic relationships.
Are you passively aggressively breaking up with me?
That'd be so messed up. It'd be like
today, for all of you to witness, we're gonna show you how to say goodbye to people.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so sad and terrible. It'd be like
you're like, but yes,
and this is live.
Yeah,
this is what not to do. Don't do that.
Yeah. Sorry, I am a little unprepared. Let me turn my phone on. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. We're all set. We're all set. We've got all my mini beverages. I had like a smoothie and a chai tea and a water. And I'm like, okay,
and
you're
tequila.
good.
She's got tequila under the table.
That's like the last thing I would have. I hate tequila.
Whenever you see her throw her head back to laugh, just look carefully because she'll have a flask in the other hand.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. So, yeah, tell us how to say goodbye to people.
How to say goodbye? Well, man. Well, first of all, I think we should just like speak from some personal experience in people that stand out who maybe we've outgrown and we've had to say goodbye to.
Yeah.
For you, are there people that come to mind?
Well, I had a couple different seasons of life. I remember when I met my now ex-wife, I used to live a very wild young adulthood when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
So I'd party a lot and, make bad choices. And then I sort of outgrew that. And then I wanted to get my act together when I met her. And then we got married, started a family, everything. And I was being a grown-up.
So there are a lot of people in that transition that you had to say goodbye to.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And I remember, my first band, who I love all the guys still to this day, but there was some, partying, drug usage and things like that. And that was just, didn't really fit the lifestyle that I was cultivating at that time. And so, yeah, I definitely remember that transition but it was more of like hey, there's going to be distance with our friendship and our relationship. I don't hate you guys or anything.
Yeah.
It's just I'm moving on to this season of my life that I really want to be all in with.
Right.
And then you guys all know the ending to that story. So there's, and this latest season of transitioning. I wouldn't say that I outgrew people, but I would say that, I did lose a lot of people though, but we can unpack that later. Those are my examples.
Yeah. Well, and we're having this conversation too, we're talking about transitions and this is specifically about the people that maybe were only meant to be in your life for a season and not for a lifetime.
Yeah.
But there's also just a big transition happening for you because you have a birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. That's all you get.
If you'd sat there and sang the entire song, it would have gotten really awkward.
It would have been awkward. That's all you get.
It's so, as a recipient of the birthday song, everyone's experienced it.
Yes.
That is one of the most awkward experiences every single year.
To sit and have people sing to you.
They need there needs to be a quick 5-second version.
Yeah.
You don't have to go all the way through it.
I'm going to make Priya sing it to you, though, because that's pretty cute.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that
she gets really
awkward.
stuck on it. For Zach's birthday, she was singing him happy birthday all month. She couldn't stop. It was someone's birthday every day in her mind.
Nice.
Well, it is someone's birthday every day, but not in our home. I should clarify, I guess. Every day it is someone's birthday. Happy birthday to anyone whose birthday is today.
Yeah, happy birthday. Today's the day before Thanksgiving at the time of our recording. My birthday is the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Is it always the day? No, because Thanksgiving is just the third Thursday of
it's like a
November.
floating holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so just every
So sometimes my birthday falls on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes mine falls on Mother's Day.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, we've got one of those floaters.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. We were speaking. I mean, I'm diverging slightly from the topic about like saying goodbye to people, but only just to talk about transitions that we are currently in, because we were reflecting before we started recording on like, wow. Yeah. It has nearly been a full year of the podcast being a thought.
Yeah.
Of its inception.
And this is episode...
I was just stating on it at this point last year.
Which is crazy. Just like how consistent we've been and how far we've come. It's amazing.
It's been an evolution. It feels like a long time and a short time all at once. Because we've... the podcast has shifted a little bit of focus as I've grown or as you've grown, and like there's been a comfort and there's routine and there's some real dialed in things, and at the same time a year is not a long time to have created something, and we created something.
I know. Well, and I just want to thank our listeners, our audience, because like this has been, in a lot of ways, we just kind of jumped all in, and we learned a lot about like as we went, like the things that
and we're still learning.
Yeah, we'll never stop learning.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like, thank you, audience, for allowing us to kind of grow and evolve with you.
Yes.
And that you've been there the entire time to like, I don't know, kind of experiment with us. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so grateful for just every part of it, every person involved. And yeah, it's been such an encouragement. I love it. So we're excited because we're talking about possibly doing a second, taking a short hiatus and then relaunching for season 2.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like bigger, bolder, badder.
I'm so excited already. We have ideas. We're already lining up kind of the focus that we want to have moving forward. And it just feels so encouraging when we get messages, which happens pretty much weekly, that we get people sharing that the podcast has helped them, or it's been enjoyable for them, or it's helped, curate a different perspective, a different curiosity. And I love that. So please reach out if that is the way that you have felt, because it is the fuel that fuels us in this work. And
feels so good.
I know.
Aren't you getting chills talking about
exactly. And that's my goal, is like, I want this to remain fun, and it has. And that's what's really cool. That was my focus. Like, I want this to remain a fun space. And I think that we've done that.
Yeah.
So I'm not breaking up with you. We're not done here.
Okay. Good.
But personally, I know I've spoken about some of the people that I've outgrown, and I'm proud of myself, I guess, because those decisions were so difficult. Like, when I love fiercely, y'all. Yeah. I love fiercely, and I know that about myself. I am a very loyal person. I have friends that I've been friends with since the 3rd grade. In fact, just this morning while we were setting up, a girlfriend that I've known since I was 15 called me, and we chatted just very briefly, but like, if you know me, you know that if you get into that inner circle, like, you're not getting away very easily.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you're not breaking up with me.
That's why. Yeah. It's going to take a lot more than but also it's been a hard lesson for me. And I've come to a place now of really understanding how to respect myself to a point too, where when you've evolved and you are growing in a different direction as someone, you have to stay true to yourself in that exploration. And that sometimes means grieving someone that you really love.
For sure. Yeah. I've discovered, that people are the most influential, like, external source for anything. So when you have like a specific trajectory or destination that you're trying to reach, and you just start to realize that these people are influencing me away from where I want to go, and it's like, I send you love, but you don't really fit into this journey anymore. And but then that's not to say that they can't come back when they and that's what
and they might,
that's
you
the
never
hope.
know.
But then and I've had to in the last couple years, people have just not really fit into the direction that I was growing. I didn't realize that I was growing in that direction, but I think that the biggest buffer was people who are quick to judge. That's been the one allergic reaction that I've had,
Allergic reaction. Yeah. That's like a cue to you that like, this isn't going to align
it's like
for me.
Yeah. I just don't want that,
So inviting, a part of this like transition that we're speaking to in realizing these things is also not just what doesn't fit, but how do I cultivate more relationships that do fit?
Yeah.
And I think in perhaps the phase that you're in, I was totally in this phase, and not that long ago, it's frustrating to be like, where's my people?
Yeah.
Where are they? Like, I want those people that I can connect with more wholeheartedly. I feel really blessed right now, and I really need to even just sit with this. Yeah, I feel really, really blessed, because right now I feel an abundance of people who I can connect with. That's and awesome. Who I can, if I need to have a heartfelt talk, if I need to process something, if I just want to be real with someone, like, God, I'm so fucking lucky. Like, I have people.
That's awesome.
And I want for other people to find that too.
Yeah.
And I love being that person for people.
Well, I think it's, you've been like relentlessly pursuing the life that you want to create. And so, I'm borrowing kind of from something Brianna Weiss said in The Mountain Is You, and it was something that really struck with me. It was kind of like, the journey to your best self is going to be a lonely road, and I'm totally paraphrasing, but the people will be waiting for you there. Yeah. And they're not just going to like you, they're going to love you. And so when you start to actually get a glimpse of the people that are waiting for you there, they're like, these people that, oh my gosh, I can be vulnerable. They love me in my low points. They argue with my negative self-talk, and it's just this healthy culture.
Yeah, of like acceptance and like grace and mercy and humility and what like beautiful qualities to get to soak up with the people in our lives. The people that you surround yourself with play a huge role in who you are becoming and in who you are. But it's almost, we just need to pay more attention to that, because I think that oftentimes it's like, well, I've known them for forever, or, well, they're family. And I'm sorry, but that's a poor excuse if you're hanging on to people who no longer fit with you. And I'm not saying, go on a rampage and break up with family members and with friends, but you get to decide, you get to have a say in the proximity that person is allowed into your life.
Totally. Yeah. Okay. I just thought of a potential exercise that I want to throw at you. And I think what's going to happen by our answers is we're going to define sort of like a one size fits all perfect friend.
Oh, okay. So tell me
my
what step one is
for you is, just because I feel like we have cultivated those characteristics for ourselves. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but okay. So my question is, how would you describe the perfect friend?
Ooh, how would I describe the perfect friend? The perfect friend for me, because might not be like everyone's cup of tea, right?
I'm confident it's gonna be a one size fits all.
Really? Okay.
Just go for it.
I need a friend who can help me have fun, because sometimes I can be too serious.
Oh, okay.
I also very much need a friend who's willing to like swim in the deep end with me, which is sometimes serious, but like it doesn't like there can be playfulness there.
Yeah.
And like is willing to have deep conversations.
Yeah.
And conversations that really matter. I love those. I want a friend who can show up, and it doesn't mean that every time. Like my lovely friend Jordan gave me a call just now, and I wasn't able to like have a full conversation with her. Mm-hmm. But we also have a lot of grace for one another in the busyness of life, and knowing that like we'll catch up eventually. Yeah. Like it's not, like that there's a bit of that there's a trust in one another to not just drop the ball, but to like come back to the game of catch.
Yeah.
I need a friend who can be honest with me. Like I appreciate when, if I'm at a low and if I'm, having anxiety, that they can be real and be like, this isn't helping you, or maybe you need to like cool off for a second. Like, that's fine. I love that. I think that that's beautiful if we can get to a strength in our friendship for that to happen, and for vice versa, if you can receive that from me too. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that are really important. And what's interesting is that a lot of my best friends and really close friends, they're not even locals. And like this friend that called me this morning, I haven't gotten to see her for 2 years because she lives in a different state. Typically we're a bit better at it, but, it doesn't mean that it's always the person who is available, but that, they make time for you when you need it. Yeah.
They prioritize you. They treat you as a human with value.
Right.
Yeah. See, my thought experiment worked.
Okay.
Because everything you said would be, I feel, the perfect friend for everyone. And they're rare. Everything you just described is rare. But when you find one, and honestly, okay, so I'm going to answer. I'm gonna answer my own question now.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're totally synced. I mean, going back to the words that we have beaten into the ground in this podcast, but that curious culture and compassion and clarity, that's a big one. But then lately I've had this thought of that somebody who loves you well, like a friend or whatever type of relationship, they speak against the negative internal thoughts that you have to the point where you start to believe them. And then you start to believe in yourself. And like borrowing from what Jay Shetty said about loving somebody so well that they begin to love themselves. And I feel like that is like the strategy of help navigating them in their low points and through their mud and shame. And the only way you can do that is with curiosity and compassion. And so approaching that relationship that way, and then seeing their beauty and their value, and then affirming them, even especially in their low points, because those low points, they probably got there because of the negative, like just constantly beating themselves up. And I'm speaking my own personal experience. And so like when somebody comes alongside and is like, no, like you got this, you're so much, you have so much more potential than you believe about yourself. And then you're like, and they keep telling you that, and they keep showing up, then eventually you're like, okay, gosh, you must actually mean what you say.
Yeah, they're a good cheerleader.
Yeah, and then you grow and you evolve, and this person was there to boost you up. Like, I heard about dolphins. When one is drowning, the pod will come and lift it to the surface because it's too weak to swim up on its own. Like, that's a friend. Like, they see your danger and they lift you up to give you life. So that's my perfect friend.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I think that's totally accurate and on point. And you're right in saying that they are a rare find. I think that, and I'm not sure Part of me wants to say that it's like our society and our culture, because we're so like instant gratification, rush, 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 or numb, numb, numb. And so sometimes the people that we might interact with the most don't necessarily exhibit those qualities, but hey, they're down for a drink.
Yeah. Which is also, that's a good friend too, but I might be outgrowing that.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a season of purification and refining. Because
tell me more.
I've noticed that when you do something that goes against like your reputation with yourself, your convictions,
yes,
it's not really those things alone on their own are bad.
Yeah.
It's more that I've noticed it's like a muddying of the water. And so then you start to kind of like lose your momentum and your growth, and you start to kind of just do stupid stuff, and you're giving into your impulses. So like the two habits I'm trying to like break, I'm trying to cuss less and I'm trying to drink less, and I know, and I don't think either of those are necessarily wrong. It's just that I feel like those two things muddy my waters.
I like that. Yeah. I'm trying to cuss less too. I kind of naturally cuss like a sailor, and I feel like it's funny because if we had like a cuss counter for this podcast, it's totally gone down in the last year. And now I have like a little girl, who's like a parrot, so that's another reason why. But those are things that have naturally with clearing my waters, have felt there's just been less need, desire, urge, and it feels good.
Yeah.
And there's also nothing wrong. Like there's a part, I think that I would also feel, I'm cussing less mainly for my daughter, but my natural tendency is to cuss like a sailor.
Yeah, which I mean, and like also navigate with a lot of grace, because like sometimes a cuss word just freaking works. I mean,
it's meant to emphasize things, and some things need to be emphasized.
The F word is the most versatile word in the English language.
And I guess I also just think that although words have power, there are no bad words.
Yeah.
And we, are conditioned that like, ooh, these are bad words. And, sometimes I think we just need to say, like one conversation that was had, I know with my bonus kiddo, Oakley, is, these are words that other people might not like to hear.
Yeah.
And they might get sad or upset if they heard you saying them, but no word is a bad word.
Yeah.
There just are going to be words that will be more appropriate to use. And we should try to use more appropriate words.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I've ever thought about bad words is that like they're not soft. And so like there are some people when you're speaking and you drop an F-bomb, it's going to shock them and they're going to lose what you're saying. They're not going to hear what you're saying. But I mean, at the same time, that's not really a you problem. That's a they problem, So I mean, don't really filter yourself. You don't have to. It's just my own personal conviction. I'm choosing to do those two things,
I think kind of back to our topic about friends and transitioning through like different seasons, I think it's fair to recognize that some people are just meant to be there for a season and not for forever. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. And I think that I was reflecting just as we've been talking too, and I was thinking about our last episode was about perfectionism. And I think that my desire to seek perfectionism clouded me from understanding what I needed to grow and respecting what I needed. And that meant that there were a lot of people in my life at one point who were not healthy people for me to surround myself with. And I was really digging in my heels because I did not want to face that. I did not want to face that at all. It was terrifying. Yeah. It was terrifying to think about. I couldn't imagine my life without this person. I couldn't imagine going through a challenging time without that person, or not picking up the phone and telling them. And they'd been there for so many important and difficult and beautiful and, exciting times in my life. I didn't know what to picture that next chapter like. And so I resisted.
Yeah.
I really resisted. And what I've come to learn in that too is that nothing good came from that resistance.
Yeah.
And I was making myself feel smaller. I was, blocking the path that I needed to go through to grow. Mm-hmm. And I was in my own way. And that's hard because I don't want to view it as if, I think I maybe said some things, but I don't view this necessarily like a hierarchy of I'm growing and they're not, but of like we're growing in different directions. And there's one person in particular where our paths diverged, and I'd been friends with them since college, like best friends. And it would have been like 15 years that we had been friends.
Yeah.
And I was so excited about the phase that they were in this phase of like advocating for themselves, that they were in this like empowered phase.
Yeah.
And I also recognized that it was some aspects of that phase that tore us apart.
Oh.
And that is maybe complicated without me going into more detail. I'm not sure how much detail I want to share. Like there was a part of themselves that they were had held some shame about, and they had broken free from that. And they were like, "Oh, I'm excited to be an advocate in this area now." And it was so awesome to be her cheerleader, and to cheer her on. And at the same time, It meant that there were some other aspects of just being human that were difficult for her to accept. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm being confusing and cryptic, but I'm not sure any other way to be.
I have a lot of questions, but I'll kind of respect the privacy.
Yeah. I'll share offline, but because I want to respect her privacy. It's not like we haven't, spoken in some time. There's been another beautiful milestone she's had, and I'm so thrilled for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have to still to do that from a distance is a practice.
Yeah. You mentioned the word feeling small, and that's something that I was thinking about, where people typically when they outgrow like certain communities or friends, it's usually that they're feeling small, and like cults and like unhealthy relationships, it's always like a controlling by making the person feel small. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so I have a friend who talked about their childhood, and they were always really self-conscious about like reading, and because the people in her life like made her feel stupid, and she used the word small. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because like when people start to understand that they are larger or more significant than they've been led to believe, then they start outgrowing these people. Because I noticed in my own personal life, when I was like the narcissist, I would try to make somebody feel like they needed me, in their life, and without me, that they're not gonna.
Well, narcissists are deeply insecure.
Yeah.
And a lot of what they're doing is an attempt to just bolster that they're needed or their importance. Mm-hmm. When and it's not that I guess I have this perspective too of like, I am sure that every human has been in the role of being a narcissist at one point in their life. And so I think we oftentimes in culture, I see a lot of posts and I've even at one point, there's an evolution of me that at one point believed this, but like no one, I don't view us as being like stamped on the forehead with like, you're a narcissist.
Yeah. It's permanent.
Yeah. And there are people who grow through that phase too. And we should talk more about that. You're someone who's grown through that phase too, and I think that sometimes there are, tendencies or leanings that come up, but you keep yourself in check. It is a practice to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel that, that in those phases, it's more of that selfish mindset, and it is coming from a lack or a feeling of insecurity.
For sure. Yeah.
And then there's the part of you that I think is you, the universal you, but also you, James, across from me. There's a part of us that also recognizes that it feels better. It feels better even in our bodies. Pay attention to how your body is feeling. It feels better when you're operating from a more holistic perspective, from a place of loving others, from a place of feeling able to receive that love, from a place of, creativity and collaboration that is without the constraints of what our ego does to create narcissism.
Yeah.
And that feels so much better. And it's taking a risk and a challenge sometimes to ground yourself there, but the payoff is so much higher. And so oftentimes, like evaluating your friendships and where they are and gravitating towards the people who are on the same path of growing in that direction as you, that's what's important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think another characteristic of a really good friend is somebody who's willing to die first. So, for example, like if my first instinct is to try to keep you small so you don't leave me, but then there's like, let's say an opportunity comes up. Oh my gosh, I have this like dream job offer across the country, and then that means you're gonna leave. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try. If I'm being selfish and narcissistic, I'm gonna try to like gaslight you and try to manipulate you into not taking it. But if I'm like, no, I'm okay with our friendship, being afflicted because I care so much about.
Thrive.
Yeah, go take that. Like I'll be sad, but I'll be happy for you. So like a friend who's willing to die first, lay down their life. Or the friendship, whatever. Not
physically lay down their life.
Yeah, although...
that'd be a great friend, but like that is not a requirement for me. I want you to live your life abundantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like that the greater good for what's good for you, and like recognizing that this is something that is powerful or that you need to do.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting take too, because oftentimes... it's probably mixed feelings. It's pretty common, when there's a friendship that's really tight and then one person gets into a relationship that there's even that type of a feeling. And now sometimes that relationship is not healthy or it's really codependent, and that's difficult to watch because that's that friend's lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And you have to take a step back and recognize that, and that can be difficult. But even still, if it's like, oh, this is a really great person, they found their person and you're happy for them, there still is, a tint of, we only have so much time in the day, we only have so much energy to give to others, and that friendship will be affected, even though this is, obviously a positive thing for that person.
Yeah.
And I think that's to like grow through that, to recognize that and process it for what it is, instead of feeling, oh, like what is being taken from me.
Yeah.
And that requires coming from a healthy place.
Yeah.
So again, like realizing that it is your responsibility to surround yourself with healthy people and to recognize who is healthy.
Right.
And so we can desire for people to change as much as we want, but we cannot force that. And that's been that's been the life lesson of the past decade for me. I think I finally got it. But yeah, it's difficult because that doesn't mean that it's for lack of love.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people come and go, but everyone leaves something, whether that's good or bad. And I think you said before, like, thank them.
Yeah.
Even for the bad stuff. Send them love. Because like everyone gives you a little lesson, and and so even your favorite people, and if they leave you, if they die, whatever, like,
they teach you lessons along the way.
They still give you something, and then it helps with your growth.
Yeah.
So every relationship, everything in this life is fleeting, but be thankful for everything.
Right. Oh man. So I was trying to find this story and read it, because I'm like one of those people who has like I got a stack of books on my nightstand and I just kind of bounce around to
Nerd
them.
alert. I'm just kidding.
And I think that this came from the book Hello, Goodbye, but I feel badly if it's not. I tried to flip through all my other books to find it. So this person, this is tagging onto your story. This person heard from a friend. I just heard the most amazing mantra from this from this monk in India, and it changed my life. Like, you need to go, you need to hear, you need to like speak with them. So he's, traveling on several flights and like overnight, and finally like gets to India, and he's tired, and he like gets to this temple where there's this monk is here, and sits down with him, and the monk says, I have 2 words for you. I have 2 words that will change your life. He leans into his ear and he says, thank you. And the guy leans back and looks at the monk and is like, that's it? Like, I'm kind of pissed. Like, are you serious? Well, what did I just fly all the way over here for? Are you kidding me? He said, so you're doing it wrong. You need to say thank you. And he left, and he was like, oh, God, what do I do with this? Here I like wasted all this time and money, and I flew over here, and this is supposed to change my life. And then like someone gave him a pleasant smile in the street, and he decided, okay, what am I going to do with this? I guess I'll practice it. What do I've got to lose? And he said, thank you. Yeah. He whispered it out loud, thank you. And then, he got to his room, and he realized, oh, all his bags had been like brought up to the room, and like everything was all set up and ready to go. And he was like, oh, that's nice. I'm exhausted. I'm ready for this. He said, oh, thank you. And then, on and on this continued, where he was like realizing things differently and saying thank you. And I want us all to be in the practice of that, because if we are not pausing long enough to whisper those words or to say them to ourselves, then we're missing so many opportunities. And only the moments that feel, out of alignment and are desperate for help are going to scream at us, and they're going to be negative. Yeah. But the gratitude for this world, it comes in a whisper, and it just says, thank you.
That's awesome. Is that a true story?
That was the story in the book. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I added the like acoustics, a little ASMR. I added some thank yous like this, but like, yeah, that was a story in the book, and it stuck with me. I just read it yesterday, and I've been practicing that. And in this conversation, if we're using that lens, then I say thank you to the boyfriend who cheated on me. I say thank you to the parents that didn't know how to fully heal to be there better for me. Yeah. I say thank you to the tiny community where I grew up, and maybe they didn't always know how to say the right things, but boy, they knew how to care about you still. I say thank you. Yeah. I say thank you to these experiences that at times felt like challenges and at times felt like roadblocks, but there was no contract when we were born into this world that was meant to be easy. We are meant to learn. Yeah. There's meant to be obstacle. Right. And for the lessons that I gained along the way, then thank you.
That was awesome. That was a little act of rebellion, but empowerment just now. Thanking your hard parts. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It is. I think that it's a task in this life to understand how to make meaning from our suffering. Yeah. Or it drags around with us and it feels like heavy baggage. Right. And I don't want to feel that baggage. I want to feel light.
And it's crazy. It's such a simple like life hack tweak, to just be grateful for literally everything. And yeah, I mean, I feel like, who was it that said this? Gratitude is, Michael J. Fox. Actually, let me see. Oh, I can't find it. He's being interviewed and he's like at severe Parkinson's at this point, and he says this one simple line that, gratitude is the path to optimism or something like that. Where like
pulled some up from Michael J. Fox. My happiness grows in direct proportion to my acceptance and in inverse proportion to my expectation. And acceptance and gratitude, there's a they're friends.
Yeah. DBT.
Yeah.
Yeah, radical acceptance. Yeah, because right now we're just saying thank you to all those hard parts of your life. That was like a radical acceptance. But then almost like one step further, not just an acceptance, but a thankful, like a gratitude.
Well, and I mean, part of what makes it so much easier is that I've done a lot of personal work to like, I like who I am.
Yeah.
I really do. And that doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It means I'm ever evolving and changing. And there are upgrades still to be made. I'm updating the operating system as we speak, right?
Yeah.
Continually. But, it makes it a lot easier to look back at those moments and say thank you. Now, the bigger practice is to look at the challenges that are currently in your life and say thank you too.
Yeah. Well, it feels, because like when you say thank you to like a traumatic experience, it almost feels like looking death in the face and laughing. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't afflict me. I'm glad that you came. So it's such a act of empowerment, you know? And so, yeah. And it's that same kind of response to like that our favorite modalities use, you know?
Yes. I want to read a poem.
Okay.
I think this is the one. It's called Her Sacred Reckless Thing from the book Let Us Dance. This is one I read from a lot.
Her Sacred Reckless Thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Her Sacred Reckless Thing. Dear one, we are all here on this earth for the great work of love, and love is not for the faint of heart. If you are on this earth, you are a tall, mighty tree inside of a small seed. Love is what breaks you open. Love is the systematic destroyer of every small self. She is the unruly one. She is what germinates the inside of heartbreak. Love is the only true evolutionary force in this universe, the only thing we desire enough to make us grow beyond ourselves. Love is the only thing persuasive enough to convince us to take on the harrowing voyage from bud to blossom. And all that said, I hope you can let her in to do her sacred, reckless, living thing to your heart of your life anyway. That, to me, really, like, I don't know, to me, that's a really beautiful poem that's about what we're talking about, like loving through the challenge, loving, like, I still love the people who have hurt me the most. I love them dearly.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that I sacrificed myself for them, because I love me too. And I think I'm here on this earth to take care of myself so that I can take care of others well.
Yeah.
And guide them towards that understanding. But yeah, it does not mean that I need to hate the hard moments or the people that have caused me pain. There's lessons in pain.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still trying to unpack it. And what's stupid is that, I don't know if it's stupid, but the first thought that came to mind was Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. Sometimes we'll have like these profound moments, and then my
in the
brain,
background of your mind, you're listening to, you're dancing to Shake It Off.
That's why I'm trying to, in a season of purification and refining, so that Taylor Swift isn't echoing in my brain in like a powerful moment. Although that song, if you look at it, it's all about like, well, the hater's gonna hate. Shake it off. Shake it off.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it fits.
Yeah, and that does fit. You know what? I take it back. This is workable. Yeah, people, you're always going to have critics, and that doesn't mean anything about you. I think oftentimes we like put too much authority in other people, and at the same time we should be humble enough to try to listen to some of what people are saying and the feedback we're getting. So it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between like a hater and a friend that's giving you constructive feedback and criticism from a loving place. Yeah. Right. And there's one that we should listen to and tune into, especially if it's a message that we've gotten from multiple people. Sometimes that message is maybe you've been drinking too much. Yeah. Sometimes that message is, I don't really feel like you've been like a good friend who can listen. Yeah. Maybe the message is, I'm not getting enough like quality time from this relationship. You're always distracted. You're always numbing yourself. Yeah. We should pay attention to those when they're coming from people that we care about.
For sure.
And then there's going to be haters that are just going to be like disgusted with your growth.
Yeah.
And that
They
is
want to keep you
nothing.
small.
Well, and you know what? It's not even about that. I don't even know if that's the main goal. It's that they are so small, they are intimidated by the idea of what growth even looks like. And you're just a representation of that.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and baby, I'm just going to shake. Sorry.
No, it was good. It was good. That really, I feel like that's how we should wrap up. We should play some Shake
Some
It Off.
T-Swizzle?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Delightful Humans, for tuning in to this episode of Delightfully Dysfunctional. Please like, subscribe, share with one of your besties. Share with anyone that you think might resonate with this or might be going through a moment where they're grappling with people that they've outgrown or people that they are having a struggle with moving on from. We see you. We hear you. We get it. And we're just sending you so much love in whatever transition or phase of your life that you're in. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey of being human, of being more human through these discussions. Please write to us and write in some advice if you would like. Send us some love so we know more of what you're wanting and more of what you're wanting to hear from Delightfully Dysfunctional. We love spending this time with you.